All right, folks, we are streaming and the agenda is up.
Well, hello. We would like to welcome everyone to today's meeting, February 16th, 2021, the regular board meeting for the South Euclid Lyndhurst Board of Education. And we are going to take a quick roll call, Mr. Hill.
Mr. Bloomberg?
Here.
Ms. Falkenberg?
Here.
Mrs. Jones? Ms. Lee?
Here.
Mrs. Ryan?
Here.
Okay, we will let everyone know you normally tune in and you do normally see Mrs. Jones. Unfortunately, she had some family matters she needs to take care of this evening. So you get me, Erin Lee Harris. And if you all can please stand, we can do the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
I pledge of allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all. We'll start with our liaison reports, Neil and Catherine.
Catherine, I'll yield to you first.
Okay. Yeah, I have a couple. Both of these have to do with fundraising during this very difficult time, where students have been able and willing to be involved in helping others, which is so encouraging to me. The first story is from North Royalton, where two students who are in Key Club, because of their advisor for Key Club lost her mother to cancer, and so she had helped out with the friendship room, which some of you are probably familiar with. And so the two students saw how much that meant to their advisor, and they wanted to get involved. So they raised funds during their each respective birthday, and they were able to give, I don't know if it gives the total, but a considerable amount of money as kind of the birthday gift to others. And the money that they raised was able to help fill refrigerators for the Friendship Club, which, or the Friendship Room, sorry, which helps out people who are homeless and or in dire straits. They were able to help with things like baby supplies, diapers, food, things that are essential for young mothers and young families. And because of their generosity, others at this high school joined in and were able to make this a really significant experience, not only for those who were in need, but also for the students who saw that they were able to make a difference. And as I can certainly attest to how much that does make a difference. When I worked with NHS at Brush, we were just overwhelmed with the generosity of students and their excitement in helping out those who had less or less opportunities. So it thrills my heart. The second opportunity is a Rite Aid grant for during COVID-19. The Rite Aid Foundation is partnering with Girls on the Run International. Girls on the Run helps support health and wellness of young women today. And this nonprofit organization, which serves third through eighth grade students, girls, provided a sense of belonging, opportunities for building friendships, and programs that improve their overall health and wellness. And as we've talked about, we know how devastating it has been for so many students who have not been able to have that connection with their teachers, with other students, who felt isolated. And this has proved to be a real boon to so many young ladies. Inspiring, I like this quote, inspiring girls to be joyful, healthy, and confident through a fun, experience-based curriculum that creatively integrates running. Girls on the Run Northeast Ohio offers programming at more than 100 sites across Northeast Ohio, and has transformed the lives of over 14,000 girls throughout its 14-year history. So that has been, I think, an encouragement for so many during this time. And I'm not going to, I have a third, but it's a little more complicated, so I don't want to take too much time. But I was just encouraged to see young people helping to give back to their communities and to help other, their friends to get through this difficult time.
Thank you, Catherine. That was actually a very interesting report. Mr. Bloomberg?
Good evening, everybody. Just a quick update on some of the introduced legislation in both the House and the Senate that I'm going to share. The governor partially restores the K-12 funding for fiscal year 2021, and there's been all kinds of money for related to the COVID still occurring, and there was money that has come through. What is it called right here? Can't remember, can't find it. So we're just going to skip that. The governor establishes the vaccination schedule for school employees, which we have already been partaking in that. And that is wonderful. And I'll just leave that at that without any further commentary. A couple of legislations that have been introduced. Legislation, and this is the House Bill 1. Get a load of this. They're creating a new school funding formula. Now, that's novel coming out of our state's legislators. Let's see what else. There's a House Bill 2 to establish the residential broadband expansion program, which will be helpful and beneficial to our students that don't have access. House Bill 34 to require public and private schools to transmit a transferred student's records within 5 school days. House Bill 43, permanently authorize public bodies to meet via teleconference and video conference. House Bill 49, to reinstate the Joint Education Oversight Committee. I'm always a little dubious when there's a committee that is established for oversight of education, but we'll just have to see where that goes. And House Bill 54 to dissolve academic distress commissions and to establish improvement plans for certain low-performing school buildings. And House Bill 61 is introducing what they want to enact, Save Women's Sports Act, which is to require schools and public and private colleges to designate separate single-sex teams and sports for each sex. And let's see, I have one more. Oh, Senate Bill 23 to expressly allow the use of cameras for images and videos of illegally passing a stopped school bus and establish a civil penalty when a driver who illegally passes a school bus cannot be identified. And I think that is a wonderful idea, making sure to keep our children safe. So that is all of the legislation that I determined seemed worthy enough to share. Thank you.
Okay, Superintendent Reed, you have a report?
I have just a short report tonight. Not I don't want to say not too much to say, just a lot happening actually. First of all, I just want to say that thank the parents out there, the teachers and the students. If any of them listening today, our principals report a really good attendance for our remote learning day. So I think Schoology has made this. I don't know if I would say the word seamless, but it has made it a lot easier, and we've gotten a lot better at this. So thank you everybody for their cooperation with that. As Mr. Bloomberg mentioned, as part of the governor's plan, vaccination rollout plan, phase 1B, over a period of 12 days, which started on February 10th through February 23rd, public school districts and community schools and non-public districts, public schools are being vaccinated for those employees, educators that so chooses to do so. So I think it was like 27,000. I think that was the number that would include for Cuyahoga County. SEL actually was able to get day one. So on February 10th, we had a significant amount of employees participate in that. And then our second date is already, they are taking a is the Pfizer Derma, there's Moderna. So the second dose, the nice part is already will be scheduled for our employees. And I just have to do a shout out for two groups, the Educational Service Center of Northeast Ohio, which supports a lot of school districts in Cuyahoga County and beyond. They actually are helping to organize it in partnership with Giant Eagle. And Giant Eagle has just done an outstanding job. Anybody that has gone through it, whatever district I talk to, it's just been a seamless process. So very well done, and just a shout out to them. So, continue, just got off about an hour ago with their district leadership team, which includes our building principals and teacher leaders, and had a chance to present the RRR, the Reopening, Recovery, and Resilience Action Plan to them as well. So, with that, we have a lot of planning to do, and I will, at our next board work session, hope to give an update on some of that progress as we move forward. So, just a short report this evening.
Thank you, Dr. Reed. I didn't see any public comment. Mr. Hill, did you have anyone say anything to you?
No.
I'll go to items 3.1, which is reviewing the minutes for the previous board meetings, January 12th and January 19th, as well as the regular board meeting on the 12th, or the special meeting on the 12th, the regular meeting on the 19th, and the executive session or the work session on February 9th. If I can have a motion for those.
So moved.
Second.
You could have it, Catherine.
Sorry.
I think that was Ms. Ryan and Ms. Falkenberg.
Any questions?
Any questions or comments?
Mrs. Ryan?
Aye.
Ms. Falkenberg?
Aye.
Mr. Bloomberg?
Aye.
Ms. Lee?
Aye. Mr. Hill, it's on you for the treasurer's report.
Yes, good evening. Recommend for approval item 4.1, the financial reports for month end January 2021. Item 4.2, the bank reconciliation for month end January 2021. Item 4.3, the investment earnings for month end January 2021. Item 4.4, this is the resolution for the sale of tax anticipation notes, or otherwise known as TANs. This is for the refinancing or refunding we have discussed prior. And then item 4.5, recommending for approval. Oh, I'm sorry, there was another item here. Item 4.5, approval of then and now purchase orders. This was actually an audit recommendation to approve these from the beginning of the year to current. It's a list of purchase orders that The purchase order was created after the purchase or prior to the order. And then item 4.6, recommend for approval items 4.1 through 4.5.
Okay. Motion to approve.
So moved. Second.
Ms. Ryan and Ms. Falkenberg.
Sorry, Stephanie.
It's all right.
Beat me out
Anyone
again.
have any questions or comments? Mr. Bloomberg, I think I heard you say you had a question.
Uh-uh.
Any questions?
That's a no.
Okay.
I just wanted to say that I'm so glad that you're the one that's doing all this, that I don't have to go through all of these numbers like you do. And when I got to the then and now, I thought, ooh, this sounds like an interesting part. And it really wasn't. So again, I'm just glad it's you.
That was the, so to give you some background on this, when I had prior, not at SEL, but I had a stamp to stamp these as they went through. As I was talking with the audit team, as we're going through all the audit recommendations, this was one of the things that I said, is the stamp, does that do a whole lot? Because I'm already signing off on these anyways. And he said, well, no, actually it would be better if you would put them on monthly with the board to make them aware of these. What we're trying to do is get people to be more proactive and obviously put the purchase order in prior to the purchase, because that's the recommended audit recommendation. So that's kind of the background on that. It's a lot now. I'm hoping going forward, because obviously this is for the past 6 months, 7 months. So this should be monthly going forward, hopefully. And I'm hoping that it gets smaller and smaller month by month as people try to, I'm assuming if it gets in front of you guys, there's going to be a little bit more, they'll have a little more push to try and get it done a little sooner.
That makes a lot of sense. I was wondering why that was, especially, I'm like you, Catherine. I opened it up and I was like, oh, then and now, I've never seen this before. This must be interesting. But it was not. It was a lot of heavy reading.
Didn't it? Yeah.
I always try and find, when we go through these audits, a lot of people will get discouraged by them. I try and find ways to make the office better. Like half the time I'm bringing things up to them saying, like, does this make sense? Should we do it this way? I've seen it done other ways. And it's how you get your processes better. So this is one of those things that kind of came out of this one.
On the other side, I looked at it and I thought it was kind of interesting. But I'm glad, because I've always been frustrated when money is spent that is supposed to be approved and the approval comes afterwards. That's like, I don't know. I'm glad you're doing that, because that really is a part of the checks and balances.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, Neil. I mean, that's the biggest thing, and why I'm pushing and doing the budgeting process the way I'm doing. It forces them to look at each and every thing prior to getting to this point. So it's almost like pushing the process along. If they're planning in the spring for the next following full year, it's almost like that natural impact to actually, what I'm hoping is that they're going to start the year and open up some of these bigger purchase orders at the beginning of the year to have them in place, so they're not scrambling when they get backed into a corner because something happened. In most cases, everything looks like an emergency. And if you plan ahead for these types of things, you can have the purchase orders in place ahead of time.
And you can also deal when there is an emergency.
Exactly.
I'm glad we hired you.
Me too. I was just getting ready to say that, Neil. I'm happy we selected you, Mr. Hill.
Well,
My
thank you.
favorite treasurer.
Like I said earlier, I'm your only treasurer.
We can do a roll call, please.
Ms. Falkenberg,
Aye.
Mrs. Ryan,
Sorry, aye.
Mr. Bloomberg,
Aye.
Ms. Lee.
Aye. You can go on to superintendent's items, Dr. Reed.
All right. Good evening again, everybody. We are on 5.0, certified personnel. Under 5.1, recommending to the Board of Education to approve the following certified personnel items. We have several appointments here, and we also have several retirements. We have Catherine Stang, Lynn Fair, and Deb Sagelka, who will be retiring at the conclusion of the 2021 school year. I'm trying to think through this. It's just, typically we'd be having folks come in and be able to honor them in the most appropriate manner. Maybe we can see what the end of the year holds and be able to, I know that we've had, these are just 3 of several that we've had throughout the school year. Maybe we can find a way to, to appropriately be able to, if we can't do it in person, maybe those that are not video shy, maybe join us for a meeting at the end of the year where we have an opportunity to have them, visually here and acknowledge. So we are, again, 3 outstanding individuals that SEL is definitely going to dearly miss. The good news is we have a few more months with them. The bad news is they will be leaving us, but I know that they're at a tough decision, but in a good place with what they want to do. So we wish all of them very well. And again, we'll give some consideration at the end of the year how we can appropriately honor these folks. And then we have several paid leave of absence, unpaid leave of absence, and then an item for supplemental instructional services for this school year. Mr. Engel actually is one of our teachers in the district who will also be providing some supplemental services.
Okay, we can get a motion for these.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Bloomberg and Ms. Ryan, any questions or comments?
Well, I just, I've already talked with Lynn. I was kind of surprised with her retirement coming up. I can't even express how much she has meant to so many students at Brush High School. It's going to be next to impossible to find someone to fill her shoes. And I'm getting a little, that's all I can say.
I know it's going to be tough with all of them. When I go over to Adrian, I usually stop in and see Miss Stang all the time, and she's just this is my 9th year here. I don't think she's lost a step in her walk. She's always been very positive. And Deb Sagelka is like a mama bear, and I say that respectfully. A lot of folks are going to, miss her with regards to she's played a lot of different roles. So yeah, it's tough, and I think a part of me is sad, but a part of me is also very envious because I think they've reached a point where they are now going to have a second act of some sort after they leave us. So we wish them well.
Well, everybody already knows Kathy Stang is a part of my family. She's been there with all of my kids since the beginning. They all know how to read, and a lot of that is because of her. The grants she gets for the books at Adrian is just unbelievable. Riley was not even born yet, and she had a whole bookshelf in her bedroom from books from, as Riley say, Stang, a whole thing of books from Stang. And the crazy thing is all my kids can read at this level. The math may be here, but reading is here. And a lot of that is attributed to Kathy Stang for taking the time, because she did more than just work in the resource center at Adrian. She goes above and beyond, even when the pandemic started, going to kids' houses to make sure they had their things. She wasn't the classroom teacher, but she was doing things as if she were their class, or as if she was their classroom teacher. So I have nothing but great things. The crazy thing is the bet was that I couldn't do this without crying, Kathy Stang, and you were on today's agenda, and I had to do today's meeting, and I did not cry when I saw that name. So I did good, but just know, Kathy Stang, you will be greatly, greatly missed by the Lee Harris family. So we can do our roll call, Mr. Hill.
Mr. Bloomberg,
Aye.
Mrs. Ryan,
Aye.
Ms. Falkenberg,
Aye.
Ms. Lee.
Aye. You're on mute, Dr. Reed.
Thank you for letting me know. I'm just so laid back here. On item 6.0, recommending, these are classified personnel items, recommending to the Board of Education to approve the following personnel items for our classified staff. Again, you'll see that we have several appointments. We do document changes in assignment. We have a resignation, a few more retirements, paid leaves of absences. And in this section, we continue to recruit some of our substitutes. And so we have several on this evening's agenda.
I can get a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
So Ms. Falkenberg and Mr. Bloomberg, any questions or comments? We got a roll call, Mr. Hill.
Ms. Falkenberg,
Aye.
Mr. Bloomberg,
Aye.
Ms. Lee,
Aye.
Mrs. Ryan.
Aye.
We are on supplemental contracts, that is 7.0, item 7.1, recommending to the Board of Education to approve the following supplemental contracts. As you can see, we're looking at some spring outdoor programs. Hopefully those go well. And so we have some appointments and then approval of payment of a former volleyball coach that we had that spent a short time with us. And that would be tonight's items.
Have a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions or comments? You can go roll call, Mr. Hill.
Mr. Bloomberg,
Aye.
Ms. Falkenberg,
Aye.
Ms. Lee,
Aye.
Mrs. Ryan.
Aye.
Here on 8.0, this is Superintendent's Items for Business. Recommend to the Board of Education to approve the following contract for Hanks Sales and Services for a laser printer. I believe it folds checks and will be housed in the treasurer's office. The reason we have it in the business section for some of those contracts just don't seem to have a natural fit, whether it's in special ed or in academics. We want to keep it consistent. So it is a business contract, even though it's going to be in the treasurer's office. So the item contract falls in this, in my opinion, this category.
A motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions or comments?
And this is just, go ahead, Catherine.
Oh, I just wondered, is this the company that we've used before with the ones at Memorial?
So I brought them on last year. We have on the older side of our printers on the older side, the folder piece of it. This kind of covers all of our check processing on the hardware side of things. And we were getting kind of on the older end of it, didn't have any kind of service contract for them. And then based on the service contract, they guarantee to extend the life of some very, very costly equipment. So for a nominal fee in this sense, we're saving on a couple of pieces of machinery that are rather expensive.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
We can do a roll call, Mr. Hill.
Mr. Bloomberg,
Aye.
Mrs. Ryan,
Aye.
Ms. Falkenberg,
Aye.
Ms. Lee.
Aye.
All right, under 9.0, we are now in the Academics, Technology, and Innovation section. Under 9.1, recommend to Board of Education to approve the calendars for the 2021-22 school year and 22-23 school year. I want to make note that the committee is formed with regards to the calendars. Recommendations are made based on to the superintendent based on employee vote. And then looks like B was a favorite of both yours. What is not included in this calendar are your continuous improvement days. And that's something we really need to think through. And I think as we move through our plan and really looking at what type of work that needs to get done with regards to our staff, we will be including and amending the calendar and planning that out for next school year with those continuous improvement days. We usually have around 5. So we'll see what that looks like. And then under 9.2, we have the Memorial Junior High Course of Study catalog. I think there are notes on this as were minor changes with regards to that course description book. And then the Brush High School course description book, I know there was the changes were documented and read and everybody had a chance to look through that. And then 9.4 is recommending the approval of the these items as presented, 9.1, 9.2, and 9.3.
Get a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Falkenberg and Mrs. Ryan. Anyone have any questions or concerns in regards to these?
I have no concerns. There are very minor organizational things, just, one line that doesn't meet another. Should I just bring that to somebody's attention later? Okay.
Absolutely. I would say if you want to email your questions to that. I don't know. Who does that go to, Dr. Reed? Now, does that go to
I
you?
would say Mr. Capo. I would
Mr.
definitely,
Capo?
yeah. And he'll get it to the right folks. I'm not sure who updates that, but Mr. Capo's office will handle it.
Thanks.
For which item?
I'm assuming the course descriptions. The course description, Catherine?
So 9.
I found nothing in the memorial, although I had already gone through these before. So I didn't go, with a fine tooth comb, but just four little things with the brush.
Manning. Okay, sure.
I was actually going to thank you because I believe you did actually read over this already, Catherine, as well as, I don't know if it was you or Neil who did the calendar. I wanted to say thank you for your time. We greatly appreciate it so much.
That was Catherine.
Okay, thank you so much, Catherine.
I have a question. I might be getting some of my years messed up, but isn't the alternative pathways to graduation starting with the class that's graduating in 22, or is it the class that's coming in 21 or 22?
Ms. Thompson, would you be able to provide any clarification for us?
Yes, in the board meeting that we had, I believe what it was in December, we did approve some things so that the current class would have opportunities under that current. And so moving forward, the course description book will eventually include that information if it's not already. Those were approved at separate times, and so we wanted to quickly get that in. And so again, moving forward, you'll see it.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Sure, absolutely.
And Aaron, I made note of, so I put 9.3 with clerical changes per Ms. Falkenberg. So I have that in with the vote so we can make those changes without having to reapprove.
Thank you very much. Very nice. If we can get a roll call, please.
Ms. Falkenberg,
Aye.
Mrs. Ryan,
Aye.
Mr. Bloomberg,
Aye.
Ms. Lee.
Aye.
We are in 10.0, which is student services and strategic partnerships. We have a little bit of everything this evening. The first one, 10.1, is I have some notes here, is actually change in the contract for our PSI services. Again, those are the health and clinic services that are supplied through a third-party PSI. So I believe that is a document change of a change of person for that. Under 10.2, that is a partnership for PSI. 10.2 and 10.3 are for non-publics. schools that they have folks listening is why does a public school district have that on their agenda? Because you'll see the word auxiliary use of funds. We've become the fiscal agent to some of those schools, and so they actually are permitted to use those funds in a certain manner, and then again being the public school, we're their fiscal agent. So again, you'll just see some of those things on there that we don't directly have a decision making on, but we do funnel them through us. And then let me go to 10.4 is being asked to consider individual student instruction contract with Reserve School of Applewood Cedars to provide services for a student in their day placement. We have 10.5, which is for the 2021-22 school year next year, is the college credit plus for Notre Dame College. 10.6 is, again, here, let me give a little explanation here. These are service agreements for our reopening, recovery, resilience programs at SEL. So a few things that what we have here is 2 different funding sources. Again, for those listening last week, we had the RRR plan, which really was talking about how our school district is really going to react to, reopening our schools, looking at areas of recovery, which means those areas that have been adversely impacted by the pandemic, and how do we get them up to pre-COVID standards? And then again, how do we as a district move forward? As part of the funds, not only does these funds they're from federal dollars, not general fund dollars, and they are used for the purpose of COVID, the pandemic, and recovery. And so you are going to see some service agreements with regards to that address certain areas. The other funding source for some of these service agreements is really coming from our what they call our student wellness, which again are non-general fund money. And that, just a quick note, that comes from House Bill 166, which was passed in July of 2019. And it was to help districts support their students' academic achievement through mental health services, wraparound services, and mentoring. Again, I mentioned that because, again, when I went to school years ago, it was reading, writing, and arithmetic. And you really look at public schools today, it's really, it has really taken on, right, wrong, or indifferent, how people feel a huge responsibility of educating their whole child and other supports. So you're seeing some service agreements over the last several years for school districts, not just that you probably might have seen 10 years ago, but we are given funds that are specifically meant for those areas. So you are going to see several service agreements there. And then for 10.7, recommending the approval of aforementioned student service and strategic agenda items, 10.1 to 10.6.
Sorry, I was on mute. You can get a motion to approve, please.
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Falkenberg and Ms. Ryan, any questions or concerns? Oh, okay. Bearing none, we can get a roll call, please.
Ms. Falkenberg,
Aye.
Mrs. Ryan,
Aye.
Mr. Bloomberg,
Aye.
Ms. Lee.
Aye.
We have one more item here under 10.8. This recommendation is coming from the Assistant Superintendent of Strategic Planning and School Partnerships, pursuant Board Policy 3120, to approve the following service agreement for Joseph A. Nicholas for a period of February 17th to June 30th of 2001. Again, this service contract is for identified needs as part of our recovery, our reopening, recovery, and resilience plan.
I'm sorry, I'm toggling back and forth from the agenda on my computer and the screen. I'm sorry. We can get a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions or concerns? Bearing none, if we can get a roll call, Mr. Hill, I'm sorry.
Mrs. Ryan,
Aye.
Ms. Falkenberg,
Aye.
Mr. Bloomberg,
Aye.
Ms. Lee.
Aye.
Under 11.0, we are now on special education. You are going to see several contracts here. Number one, 11.1, recommending to the Board of Education to approve the individual student instruction contract to provide services for a student for a period of February 1st to the end of our school year. And you can see that the contract will not exceed the amount listed there at $31,290. Under 11.2, it is our CVAC agreement, which was run through the Mayfield Board of Education, who's the fiscal agent for the Cuyahoga East Vocational Educational Center program, which provides services, vocational training services for our students with disability, something our district has done and participated with for a long time. And then 11.3 with Mayfield City Schools, recommending to the agreement with the Mayfield City Schools for educational services for our students with, in their hearing impaired program. And again, this contract provides those services through the 2021 school year. And then 11.4, recommending the approval of the aforementioned special education items 11.1 to 11.3.
You got a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Bloomberg and Ms. Falkenberg, any questions or comments? Bearing none, if we can have a roll call, please.
Mr. Bloomberg,
Aye.
Ms. Falkenberg,
Aye.
Ms. Lee,
Aye.
Mrs. Ryan.
Aye.
And that concludes my section. Back to the Board of Education.
Okay, well, it's our items 12.1. Any information? Anyone have anything they would like to share in regards to the board? Mrs. Ryan, anything?
No, pretty quiet these days. Everyone being home.
That's a good sign. I just wanted to second, I don't remember if it was Neil or whoever mentioned it, but thanks to Linda and our district for and Giant Eagle as well for a very well orchestrated COVID vaccine process. I was so thrilled to get it, and I think judging from everyone else who was there, it worked so well and smoothly, and I'm just very
Welcome.
I'm happy to hear that. I just wanted to do a reminder. I've gotten a lot of questions in regards to the seniors. If you are a parent and you're watching and you have not really received all the information, a senior email goes out every week. Ms. Meyer sends out a senior email with an update. If you are not on that email listing, I would encourage you to contact Brush in the Morning and speak with Ms. Jameson so they can update your information so you can start receiving those weekly emails, because I've gotten a few parents that keep asking me, well, my child's a senior, what do I do about A, B, C, and D? But that is there. So if you could contact Brush and Mr. Williamson, they will assure that you get on that email contact list as well. And I think that's all. Any new or unfinished business? Okay. And we can go on to the public comment. I did not receive anything, Mr. Hill.
No,
None from you either. There is no need for executive session. Am I correct?
None on my end. No.
not mine either.
I love talking to you all. I guess this has come to the end of our meeting.
Good job, Erin.
Thank you all for joining us. And I survived, and hopefully we'll see you all next month with Mrs. Jones back in the forefront where she's supposed to be. Mr. Hill, you can go ahead and close us out, please.
Can I get a motion?
So moved.
second.
Mr. Falkenberg? Mr. Bloomberg?
I'm sorry, but I just want to say Erin did good, Mr. Hill. Okay.
I know.
Catherine wants to stick around.
I'm trying to take some of the stress off of her. I figure if I bomb, she'll be good.
Those birds almost got me at first when I said, "Hey, Falkenberg, Bloomberg." The birds almost got me there for a second.
Catherine, can we go home?
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Have a wonderful evening, everyone.
Good night, everybody. Great job, Erin.
Thank
Good night.
you.
Good night.